We're live once again here on the SABC News channel. I am Alisha Jali. This is Media Monitor, and we've got a great show lined up for you today. But let's give you a very quick update on the leading stories at 900 hours Central African time. Ramaphosa earlier squashed reports that he had threatened to resign in the wake of the finance minister reshuffle fiasco. Ramaphosa was addressing the media at Macau in the northwest. He says the ANC remains united. The Tshwane University of Technology's Soshanguve campuses have announced that exams will be written on January the 11th to the 29th. The Soshanguve campuses will reopen on January 4th for returning students who have to write exams, while re-examinations will be written from February the 1st until the 12th. Metro Rail in Gauteng has warned that they will suspend their services if their staff continues to be victimized. Well, there's allegedly an increase of assaults on their staff members by train commuters in that province. Burundi's government has reacted angrily to an African Union decision to deploy a 5,000-strong peacekeeping force to curb ongoing violence in the troubled country. The AU's Peace and Security Council earlier agreed to deploy the troops for an initial period of 6 months in order to protect the civilians there. Now, this follows months of political violence after the disputed re-election of President Pierre Nkurunziza back in July. Well, Miss Spain has been announced as the winner of this year's Miss World competition held in China. Maria La Laguna Royo was handed the crown last night by last year's winner Rolene Strauss of South Africa. Miss Russia Sofia Nikichak was named first runner-up, while Miss Indonesia Maria Hafanti was the second princess.
Spain is Miss World 2015.
All right, let's now have a look at some of the front pages of our Sunday newspapers. There is the Sunday Times, and it's leading with the headline about top ANC leaders who gave President Jacob Zuma a stark choice just hours before he reversed his decision to appoint David van Rooyen as finance minister. The City Press is leading with a story about a damning report into the Jobs for Cash scam run by officials from the Department of Basic Education and the Teachers Union, SATU. The Weekend August is leading with the headline about police seizing more than 1,000 rounds of ammunition, assault rifles, pistols, silencers, as well as right-wing paraphernalia from an elderly man's flat. The Sunday Tribune also leads with a story about a brazen gang that kidnapped and held ransom for several millionaires in Maputo, Mozambique, are now believed to be operating in South Africa. Well, my guest this morning, let's welcome Advocate Makhosini Msibi. He is the CEO for the Road Traffic Management Corporation, as well as in studio here with me is Mr. Buhle Dlamini from the Road Safety Awareness Africa, and we will be discussing how to prevent road carnage this season. Gentlemen, a very good morning to you. Let's start with you, Buhle. Good morning.
Good morning to you.
All right. Advocate in Durban, a very good morning to you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us on Media Monitor.
Good morning, Alicia, and good morning to the listeners.
Thank you so much. All right, well, let's start the show now. For all those holiday makers who started heading to various holiday destinations, the law enforcement officers are also not taking chances. They have increased visibility on all major routes, and motorists have been warned that they have to respect traffic rules or face the full might of the law. Here's an insert.
Authorities have urged all drivers to be responsible and not to exceed the speed limit.
There will be roadblocks over this festive season, so we want to call on motorists to comply and please be patient with the officers.
In the Western Cape, traffic officials are conducting safety checks as part of Operation Exodus. In Mpumalanga, volumes are expected to increase as people travel to Mozambique and Swaziland. Over 300 unroadworthy vehicles have already been impounded since the beginning of December. But road crashes have already claimed hundreds of lives.
From the 1st of December to the 13th, we already had more than 407 fatal crashes.
As the numbers keep on swelling, a reminder to buckle up and arrive alive.
Advocate, let's start with you in Durban. I mean, the death toll is about to reach 500. Last year, we had fewer deaths throughout the whole of December. What do you accredit this to? So who's not doing what they're supposed to do?
Alicia, it's quite disturbing that the numbers are swelling up, and clearly we have done all things possible, but the attitude of our road users remain recalcitrant. It is indeed worrying that the major causes of our road crashes in this particular year and this particular festive season, key amongst it's drunken driving, speeding, unroadworthy vehicles, as well as fatigue. These are the major causes that are causing the numbers to rise, are causing us to lose lives on our roads. And indeed, it's all in the mind, because all road users have been made aware. We've engaged with all this and sundry. We've warned people, we've educated people. And indeed, Alicia, what is also frustrating, it's a number of pedestrians that has also lost their lives simply because they are crossing the roads where it's unsafe to do so. And indeed, they are also jaywalking. But what is more what is more worrisome is the fact that all these crashes, most of them are taking place within the suburban areas. And indeed, it therefore tells us that it's nothing else but the human behavior and the human attitude.
Buhle, what do you think is the problem here? Is it really the attitude of our drivers and even pedestrians, as the advocate is saying?
I think the advocate is correct. If we look at the estimates, more than 90% of the road crashes either occurred with regards to law infringement, that is due to driver error. And that is why we tend to focus on the road user, because we don't adhere to the rules of the road. We overtake when it's unsafe to do so. And I mean, like, if you look at South Africa, we've got a very bad road safety record. I mean, we lose about 40 people per day. Further than that, 20 people become disabled permanently, with hundreds more that get serious injuries. So therefore, it is very imperative that we focus on the road user and try and equip and educate and create that awareness to say, if you are about to embark on a journey, what are the things that you need to do? What do you need to look out for? How do you need to prepare for that?
Advocate, let's talk about driver education, or let's just say road user education. What new measures has the department instilled to try and increase awareness and also education around road safety? I know we say it every single time, whether it's Easter's or when it's festive season, but how do we then educate and change the attitude of those road users?
Oh, well, Alicia, we've taken a number of interventions. Key to the interventions is, of course, the introduction of the road safety curriculum within the Department of Education, particularly from the grade R level and to the grade 11. Indeed, we hope that if we then educate our children at a tender age, we might see some decisive interventions. But we have also partnered with faith-based organizations simply because we do believe that our people listen mostly to their pastors and listen mostly to the men of clergy. We have also gone out to partner with a number of community leaders. In particular, we're partnering with Santiago, which is the taxi fraternity. We have also come on board with ambassadors, because we do believe that people have their own icons, they've got their own leaders that they look upon to deliver the message in relation to the road safety. We have also, key to it, we have also brought on board the Road Safety Advisory Council. And these are the people that are renowned in their own communities, in their own fields, who are specialists in relation to road safety, to design and perhaps have some interventions that we might have underscored. But we have then gone through the breadth and length of the country. We have involved all key stakeholders. We have brought on board this year the youth in particular, because if you look in terms of the statistics, the youth, it's mostly affected. We have all formations of the youth that have partnered with us, who are also been on the journey through all the corridors of our roads, delivering the message in relation to road safety. And we thought, in doing so, in spreading this gospel through all medias, through all formations, through all means, people will then heed the call. You will find us at every toll gate. You will find us at every stop, be it at a garage. You will find us at any other place where the multitudes have gathered. We have been doing some activations along the coast, along the beaches, in the public space, be it in the malls, because we do believe that we have to touch each and every individual to spread this gospel.
You know, Buhle, he makes a very interesting point, because I'm going to bring it back to you. He talks about, various initiatives that the department has embarked on to bring the campaign to the people. Let's talk about Arrive Alive. A lot of people just think it means we're going to see a lot more traffic cops on the road, and that means I must travel via the back routes. I mean, what is this campaign all about?
I think what the national government has done, which is to bolster then the campaign, is to adopt a 365 strategy or a program on road safety, and also the establishment of the Road Safety Council. I think it puts more impetus in terms of ongoing education. And as Arrive Alive and Road Safety Awareness Africa, we educate using our online platforms. So anybody can go on the Arrive Alive website, where you can find information on different tips and guides throughout the year. But over and above that, we are on the ground. We want to reactivate school visits, and we also partner with both the private and the public sector in order to combine efforts, especially coming from a civil society organization. We feel that we are better placed to be able to coordinate, because you may find that certain telcos are concerned with regards to distracted drivers due to using cell phones, texting while driving. However, efforts on road safety are not coordinated, and we are saying that we need to have a consolidated effort in terms of trying to drive the message across using various media platforms and campaigns on campuses, and working with other stakeholders such as the taxi industry.
A lot of people feel that specifically at the Arrive Alive campaign, is it still effective?
I think the seriousness and obviously South Africa being a signatory to the Decade of Action to try and reduce road fatalities by 50% in 2020, we are all driving towards achieving that goal. And I think the coordinated effort is what is really going to then, we're halfway there. It is what is going to really now put strength behind the campaign, and I think you'll be seeing a lot more.
All right, we're going to leave it there for now, and we'll have more on this discussion shortly after this break. Do stay with us.
we kick off this week's show by seeing how Kenyans are paying tribute to the victims, as well as not only how they've coped, but how they returned stronger after the attacks.
Last year, images of the 4-day Westgate Mall attack saturated front pages.
In the Democratic Republic of Congo, artists have assembled to celebrate the peace this war-torn country has not had in a long time.
No conflict that can't be solved without a conversation.
The Journal, every Saturday at 1:30 on SABC News.
Welcome back. We are talking traffic management and how to avoid road accidents during this festive season. And unpacking these issues, I'm joined by Advocate Makhosini Msibi in our Durban studios. And of course, here with me in studio here is Mr. Buhle Dlamini from the Arrive Alive campaign. Remember, you can share your views on this discussion on our social media page, that at SA Media Monitor. Now, about 17,000 traffic officers have been deployed across the country as the Road Traffic Management Corporation and government in their bid to try and curb accidents during this festive season. Although Minister of Transport Dipuo Peters confirmed that at least 487 people have already been killed in accidents between the 1st and the 13th of December. Here's more on this insert.
We have made sure that we are deploying the National Anti-Corruption Unit in most of our operations so that they can be undercover, they can assist us. And if a person is caught in that act, the person will be arrested. Both the officer and the person who's bribing, because bribing is also an offense.
I think they're doing a good job, especially when it's approaching the festive season, so that they can try to limit accidents and the people that are not abiding the rules of the law. So they are doing a very good job. I also like it.
Advocate, it's a very big thing, corruption and bribery, as we've just heard in the insert. How's the department dealing with this, especially on the police officers, the Metro police officers?
Well, Alicia, I can just be saying that we have adopted a zero tolerance to fraud and corruption, in particular to bribery. Mm-hmm. Just yesterday, we nabbed one of our own in the Tshwane Metro who received a bribe of 100 rands. So we have locked her up. We have a number of operations, and our traffic officers and the anti-corruption in particular placed everywhere where we have operations, and even where people are unsuspecting that we might have deployed some of our own. Indeed, one of the key components that begins to give some immunity to those people that are banned to break the laws is the fact that they know that they can bribe their way. And we are saying to all of them, their days are numbered. We are after them. We will not allow our traffic officers to be corrupted. Neither will we allow traffic officers to accept bribes. So the matter that relates to bribery, it's non-negotiable. It's arrest, and indeed, we deal with you harshly. We cannot sell the lives of our road users that cheap.
But Advocate, how does then one get in touch with you as a department to alert you if they feel that, there might have been some sort of corruption with a Metro police officer?
Well, Alicia, we have a toll-free number, and that it's working 24/7. I might have omitted to indicate to the listeners that this festive season we have a war room where all our officers, a team from all provinces is stationed within the call center 24/7, and we are taking calls, we're attending to all these issues, and we're monitoring the roads. We do it even through Skype, that we are looking at whatever that is on our road.
Buhle, look, let's talk about the campaign still. Let's talk about the main objectives and how far you're going to push out this campaign this year particularly.
I think looking at Gauteng alone, by the 19th or the 17th of December, we would already reached 105 deaths on the road, which I think is very unacceptable. I think strong law enforcement, I think in terms of our government and the different provinces, visible policing is going to really assist in terms of ensuring that road users know that if they infringe the laws, there'll be a need for them to account for that. However, as Arrive Alive, we'll continue on our education and being informative, and we urge road users to utilize social media, to also listen out on radio alerts. I think now we are in the middle of the festive season and there's a lot of travelers that are traveling long distances. All we could do now is to just encourage and educate on what to do to prepare for your journey, to research your journey, give you handy tips. But going forward, we'll then embark on a 365-day campaign where we'll use multiple platforms and get people engaged so that we make it cool, to obey the rules and have a social movement, so that we can face this serious challenge. Yeah.
Look, Advocate, just to bring you back there a little bit, Buhle mentioned something very serious here. The fact that people just don't want to abide by the traffic laws. Is there anything that the department is doing to try and relook at the current laws that we have in the country if people are just brazenly ignoring those laws, Advocate?
Well, and this year we as a department, we have assessed the situation. We have come to a realization. Maybe I must premise my answer from the point that in this festive season, we came out better equipped, better informed, because we arise from a summit, the Road Safety Summit, where decisive decisions were taken and clear mandate were given to the department.
And how soon will these be affected?
Amongst others.
Yes, go ahead, Advocate.
Those include, amongst others, the review of the legislation, in particularly the legislation that relates to drunken driving,
absolutely,
the legislation that relates to reckless, negligent, or inconsiderate driving. To that extent, we are engaging with the Department of Justice to reclassify the Schedule 3 to Schedule 5. What does that mean? It therefore means that if you are then arrested for reckless, or negligent, or drunken driving, you need to spend 7 days behind bars before applying for a bail. But we are saying that's not enough. We're also looking at a situation where we have the mandatory minimum sentence for 2 years. We have also looked into a number of quick wins in relation to the regulations and indeed at the provincial level, where we can impound their vehicle and increase the fine to about 20,000 or 50,000 before you can access your car. So those are the interventions that we're making. We're also looking at, indeed, you'll recall that around June, July, the minister had also expected some inputs or comments on the regulation, where we're amending and changing the speed from 120 to 100 or 80 at the particular situations, where also we'll also be requesting and dealing with the fact that we will not have freight vehicles or trucks beyond our tasks. Those are the interventions that legally we're looking at. However, but we might also believe it to the fact that we are a constitutional country and people have rights, but it doesn't mean that your rights should overstep some of the people's rights. So we're looking at a number of reclassification of the traffic infringements because people are not taking traffic infringements that serious.
That's very
but
true.
I do believe that when people are put behind bars, that's when people are going to be understanding. You'll know that our sister agency, Archia, is dealing with the ARCHO, which is the demerit system. That will also come handy when we really roll out the demerit system, where people will finally lose their driver's licenses.
All right, Advocate. Let's leave it there for now, Advocate. I just want to quickly bring in Buhle because we're about to go. Look, Buhle, there was a proposal, and Advocate also listened to this. There was a proposal that people wanted a website that is accessible for the traffic department to take pictures of those people that are breaking laws and put their number plates on that website. Is this something that you guys are going to look at in the future, Buhle?
I think all suggestions.
I mean, you said it's going to make things cool, so this could be one way.
Yes, I think all suggestions in terms of coming up with solutions. And in this day and age, you cannot run away from that. I mean, like, people are using social media.
Absolutely.
Well, some are using it to take selfies in accident scenes. We don't encourage that, but I think we're moving towards that kind of trend. So that when they see somebody doing something wrong, let's say maybe with a new legislation that came in.
Yes, you don't always have the number to call. You don't always remember the toll-free numbers, 100%. But you can take a picture and put it online.
And the momentum is moving that way. So if you have a 3-year-old who's not strapped in, there's new legislation that is now saying that is illegal. And I think that people will start to interpret the laws and expose those children maybe who are standing up in the car to say, I mean, like, this is not the route that we should be going. So I think we cannot limit that, but we'll definitely support it if it's done in a responsible and safe environment.
Advocate, what can you tell us about this? Can you operate a website where we can take pictures of people behaving badly on the road and send them straight to you?
We do. I have said initially that we have even gone on Skyping. We have a web page that we're working with on as RTMC, and people can indeed shoot pictures and send them to us over and above our toll-free number, which in any event I haven't given to you.
All right,
which
Advocate.
is 0861 400 800. We also have a web page. You can also tweet to us. If you follow our ambassadors, we're always on tweeting. We're always on Facebook. We're always accessible. We have aligned ourselves.
Speaking of tweets, Advocate, I have to cut you because some people have written to us. Here are some of the tweets. It says, do you think they listen and take note? Most of the drivers on our roads don't care. Selfish and aggressive. I can't see who that is. It is Elizabeth Zale. And of course, Rudy Takamela says, carnage on our roads replicates war-torn countries. It's incumbent on us as citizens to curb this carnage. And last but not least, Beatrice Mahonga says, revoke the driver's licenses when the rules have been violated. All right, there's more coming. Simon Butelezi says, I wish they can be very serious on their duties and deal with the unroadworthy cars. As you've heard, the advocate says there's new stringent measures for those, about 20,000 rand for an impounded car. So you better be careful. Traffic office must stop taking bribes. I think he meant to say traffic officers must stop taking bribes. Advocate in Durban, thank you so much for joining us. And of course, do enjoy your festive season. We're going to have you here very soon when you come to tell us about those new amendments to the legislation. Thank you so much, Buhle, for joining us here on Media Monitor. Well, that was our TMC CEO, Advocate Makhosini Msibi, live to us in our Durban studio. And with me in studio was Mr. Buhle Dlamini from the Road Safety Awareness Africa. And they were taking us through the strategies that they've been put in place in order to curb road carnage and to help us all arrive alive this festive season. Stay tuned for more after this short break. This is Media Monitor.
technology isn't all scary. There's also fun stuff like gaming.
Lots of women do play games, whether it's on their phones or their tablets.
Then there are Africans who are using new tools to make other people's lives much easier.
We typed the whole CV on a small, QWERTY Nokia phone.
For all these and other technology and social media news, join me, Sphumelele Zondi, every Sunday at 7:30 p.m. Central African Time on SABC News.
Welcome back. My guest now for the rest of the hour. We're very pleased to be joined by Brigadier Vishnu Naidu. He'll be talking to us about Operation Fearless. Sir, a very good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us on Media Monitor.
Very, very good morning. Thanks for having me on your show this morning.
All right, Vish. Well, Operation Fearless will be rolled out across the country in order to clamp down crime during this festive season. Before we delve into this discussion, here's an insert.
I want to say to South Africans, there will be stops and searches everywhere in the country. There will be raids where it is necessary. I want to say to them, bear with us. We are here to protect you, to ensure your safety as you enjoy the festive season.
I even made a proposal where I said, if we happen to get somebody with an illegal firearm, the proposed sentence for that one must be a life sentence. We cannot allow these people to do what they are doing, to go to the mall, try to kill the people who are just shopping.
Vish, Operation Fearless, kicking through this festive season. Give us the scope.
Well, I must say, since its inception, Operation Fearless, since the beginning of April, has been extremely successful. That's one of the reasons we decided to continue with this particular operation during the festive season. If we had to change it and go back to our old ways of introducing new operations, it would be kind of like reinventing the wheel. Operation Fearless has been very, very successful. It is a multidisciplinary operation. It's integrated. We don't work alone as a SAPS. I see you just had the traffic department interviewing the traffic department. We work very closely with them. We work very closely with other government departments, Home Affairs, SARS, Department of Social Development, Health, you name it, all the departments, the National Prosecuting Authority, Justice. And it's proven to be very effective, very efficient, in a sense that when we are encountered with a particular problem that involves other government departments, we are able to address it almost immediately. We're sitting with those departments at different levels, at cluster level, at provincial level, and even at national level. At national level, we are overseeing the entire operation throughout the country. Just in this past week, one of our key pillars, one of our 6 pillars of the operation is border security. And we visited all the ports of entry, the land ports particularly in the country, just to ensure the operational readiness of those ports. You know, especially when we approach the Christmas period, there's a huge influx of not only people, but also goods and vehicles.
Are these raids, Vish? Because I'm sure people are saying, ooh, if Operation Fearless is coming this side, then we must go hide away our stuff.
Well, I won't say it's raids in particular, but what it is actually is just to make sure, I mean, we're not in the business, especially at our ports of entry, we're not in the business of creating any uncertainties, creating any discomfort for people. On the contrary, the whole approach is to make the flow of traffic, of people and goods through those ports of entry as smooth as possible. It's festive season now. Of course, we want people to enjoy the festivities, but we have been saying this time and again, as much as they're enjoying the festivities, they must do it in a very, very controlled and a very responsible manner. Because our interest is on those that are law-abiding. We want to make sure that we create an environment where people are and feel safe.
Look, Vish, very interesting that you say that. Just how prepared, though, are the police this festive, especially in the recent spate of police killings?
Well, we're very prepared. Remember, when it comes to police killings, we are working in an environment where we are constantly confronted with criminality, with people that are committing heinous crimes, people that are armed to the teeth in some cases. Our police officers are trained adequately. Unfortunately, I cannot give you the strategies that we have in place because we do not know the criminal strategies, you know. But what I can tell you is that management has taken a multitude of steps to ensure the safety of police officers. But what do you do when you have a situation where a criminal is laying in wait, in ambush for that police officer? We always advise our police officers. We send out constant internal communications to them, advising them to treat every situation as a life-threatening situation. Even if it's just a normal call-out for assistance or domestic violence, treat it as a life-threatening situation. If you look at the number of police officers that were killed, it's 82 police officers killed for this calendar year. But if you take the number of attacks our police officers had to encounter, they run into hundreds. And if you had to convert those into killings, we would have had much more killings. So police officers have been vigilant. They have definitely been vigilant. They have taken their training and the experience out there, which has helped them protect themselves.
Vish, you know, while we're on that point, you know, I know we're stepping off the mark a little bit here, but I mean, I'm interested in what you've just said now. There was a wide call for government to do more to provide things like psychological and mental debriefing for the police officers. Is that anything that is part and parcel of this?
No, well, psychological or mental debriefing for members has been going on for a long time. We have within our environment, the employee health and wellness environment, where we have psychologists readily available. We even members have the privilege and opportunity to go to private psychologists if they want to. In every situation where there is the slightest degree of trauma, a police officer is encouraged to go for debriefing. However, that is the prerogative of the police officer himself. But we really encourage it. We try to explain to them the importance of that debriefing session.
All right, now let's go around South Africa for the rest of the festive season. What can we expect from SABC?
Well, as I said to you, this is an integrated multidisciplinary operation. We have divided this operation into 6 pillars, and it caters for everything. For aggravated robberies like your house robberies, your business robberies, cash in transit, heists, all categories of aggravated robberies.
What happens there, Vish? Explain to us. Do you deploy more police officers to go to certain areas? Because we know there's hotspots like the Cape Flats in Durban, it's KwaMashu, you know, those type of areas.
Remember, the National Commissioner is going around, the Acting National Commissioner is going around the country and is emphasizing the back to basics concept. And one of the fundamentals of the back to basics concept is high visibility, particularly in your hotspots areas that, like you have mentioned now. There is going to be high visibility. Today you see me in uniform. All police officers, trained police officers, will now wear uniform every time they're on duty. That helps to intensify and create this high visibility approach that we're seeking to achieve. And then, of course, that's going to help. Where this police officers seen to be present, it takes away that element of criminality or crime. It helps a great deal as far as that is concerned. And then also, of course, going back to the pillars that I was referring to, we're also going to look at the issues of abuse of liquor and drugs, firearm control, wanted suspects. We just come out of 16 days of activism, but we're not only focused on 16 days of activism where we protect the rights of women and children and people with disabilities. This is our continued efforts to ensure that people, women, children and people with disabilities are protected. So that's one of the other pillars.
All right, leave it there for now, Vish. We're going to continue shortly after this break. Do stay with us.
Your World makes it its business every evening to round up the leading local stories and international news to keep you informed all the time.
Make a date with Your World every evening for all the news headlines around the world to keep you abreast with knowledge.
Catch Your World for headlines across the world every Monday to Friday from 9 p.m, then Saturday and Sunday from 7 p.m.
Welcome back. You're still watching Media Monitor, and you can still share your views on our Twitter page at SA Media Monitor. Let's now continue to speak to Brigadier Vishnu Naidu about Operation Fiela and, of course, other police activities to combat crime during this time of the year. That is, of course, the festive season. Vish, look, we've spoken about this before, and you did touch on it earlier on in the interview, but please elaborate. The issue around guns, illegal guns, how are police dealing with that this year?
Well, of course, one of the important fundamentals of this operation is the proliferation of firearms, particularly illegal firearms. You would recall over the years, we've had amnesty periods where we call for people to come forward and end in the official firearms. That has been a resounding success. But also, of course, with Operation Fiela, it's one of our critical pillars where we also look at the proliferation of firearms. We are constantly recovering firearms through this operation. We are also constantly recovering firearms through our day-to-day operations, and we're not going to stop. The more firearms we get off the street, the less likelihood there are of instances of aggravated robberies being committed, such as murder, rather aggravated robberies, as well as murders and attempted murders, and so forth. So it is vitally important that we continue with our efforts in that manner. But I think what's very, very crucial and important in this whole, in all the aspects of criminality is the involvement of communities and business, because communities have been playing a fundamental role. They are our eyes and ears on the ground. They provide us with information, and that's what, I mean, we cannot possibly know where firearms are being stashed, where the criminals are hiding out. It's through community involvement that we are able to achieve the successes that we're achieving, and we're asking them to continue in the same faith, because they are helping us help them to protect themselves. So it's important that we continue having this community support.
So how are you building that relationship with the communities, Vish?
Well, remember, we have community policing forums at all police stations. And then also, of course, senior management as well as our political head, we go on imbizos. We have community engagement programs where we constantly interacting with communities. We look at areas that are most affected by crimes.
Vish, I'm very interested in the KwaMashu saga. And I mean, this is because Durban is home, but apparently police can't even go into the area because it's just ungovernable.
There is no such thing as a no-go area. We have been into KwaMashu many times. We have raided those hostels in KwaMashu, even at Cleveland's. There will be no-go area. There's no such thing as no-go areas for police. We cannot allow for lawlessness to prevail in any environment. Remember, we're guided by crime threat and crime pattern analysis. Once we find that a particular area is affected by criminality, we will plan our operations around that and make sure that we get into those areas, identify those responsible, arrest them, bring them to book, and recover whatever implements or items that they're using to commit those crimes, whether it's dangerous weapons, firearms, and so forth. And we continue to do that. There is no... If there's a situation where the local police are unable to handle a particular area, we have intervention capabilities. We have the National Intervention Unit, we have public order policing, we have the tactical response teams. We use all of these efforts that we have in place, or initiatives that we have in place, and we go into those particular areas. But as I said, it's not just the police alone. We also take Home Affairs with us to ensure that the people that are there, if they are foreign nationals, they are there with proper documentation, they're properly documented, and so forth. We also take in the South African Revenue Services, because sometimes we have a situation where we have criminals that are involved in serious crimes, where they have a lot of assets in your affluent areas, but they are living in these kind of hostels. So we use that expertise of the the South African Revenue Service, as well as the Asset Forfeiture Unit, to try and recover all of those proceeds of crime, so to speak.
Look, Vish, let's take a look here and see what people at home are saying about this particular topic. Blitz says Operation Fiela will make all citizens safe. Does that please you?
It definitely pleases, but this is the feedback we've been getting all along since its inception. And this is the reason why we are continuing with Operation Fiela, because the people want Operation Fiela.
Absolutely.
The people embrace Operation Fiela.
Sifunukwazi News says we applaud at say Police Services Management. They are very, very visible. And Inspire to Excel says, I hope they will be effective and not just the big in numbers. I appreciate the effort put on by government. Lesecho Mokwele says police visibility should be continuous. And last but not least, Lindani Mthembu says good initiative, but should be much more visible in areas where there is high crime rate in this period, i.e. the beaches and the CBDs. Vish?
Well, remember in this festive period, we cannot just only focus in the areas like the beaches and CBDs, albeit that there's a great influx of people going there. Yes, we have a great initiatives and efforts focused on those areas, but we cannot forget our rural areas in terms of our rural safety plan.
You know, people never think of that.
No, we remember this is a very structured operation. We have to focus on those areas because there are migrant workers returning home. As I said to you, when people indulge in alcohol and when there's abuse of drugs, there is a tendency of crimes escalating. So we have to be there on a proactive basis to ensure that we can prevent such crimes from taking place.
Look, Vish, while we're still on rural areas, you know, people always complain that they never get to get the police on time whenever they need them. Are these some of the things that Operation Fiela is making light for the people?
Remember, when it comes to these type of operations, we have high visibility of police officers on foot, on vehicles, and bicycles, even on horseback.
Yes.
But we also have the air capabilities, where we will have police officers on standby. Should there be a need for quick response, then we have this air capability where we can deploy our choppers and so forth.
Okay.
So you will have a situation where people will complain if they expect police to arrive there in 5 minutes and they arrive in 10 minutes, then to them it's a delay. But, we're also looking at reviewing our strategy in turnaround times in terms of attending to complaints.
Okay.
And we want to make sure that we attend to all complaints, whether it's in a rural area, whether it's in a suburb, CBD, or whatever the case may be, within reasonable time.
Very quick update, Vish. We spoke about this. There was a damning investigation about police officers selling those guns, illegal guns, to the actual criminals. What has happened to that case?
Well, that case is still going on. We arrested the colonel that was involved with that. He's currently facing criminal charges. I cannot quite say, but I think he's also been dismissed from the police service from a departmental point of view, departmental investigation point of view. But definitely there's a criminal case pending and that's still going on.
Vish, thank you so much and good luck with Operation Fiela. We'll be seeing you somewhere around the roads around the country. Thank you so much and a happy festive season to you,
Thank
sir.
you for this opportunity.
All right. Thank you so much. Well, we'd like to thank all our guests for partaking in our discussion this morning. That was another exciting and informative edition of your favorite program, Media Monitor. We were broadcasting to you live from our SABC studios here in Auckland Park. Do join us again next week, Sunday, for another jam-packed edition of Media Monitor. And of course, a happy festive season to all our viewers. And of course, have a Merry Christmas. I'm Alicia Jali. This is SABC News.